Once again, gradient mesh isn't going to be easy. It's more challenging than a pen tool, but you'll see that it does have a benefit if you can really get it down. So let's get started. One of the tools we're going to use for the gradient mesh is the eyedropper tool. So we want to double click on the eyedropper, make sure that our raster sample size is set to 3 by 3. By default it's point sample. We want 3 by 3. We're going to click OK. I'm also going to take my zoom tool here and I'm going to zoom in on the pepper, get it nice and big. I'm not going to worry about the stem, I'm thinking about the red part. Actually, let me move that over. I'm going to need a navigator window in a minute, so I'm going to move that over holding the space bar. I don't want a fill and I don't want a stroke at the moment. Now I know you've learned about pen tool and you would be able to trace this, but this is what I found. That pen tooling it and then adding gradient meshes after you have curves oftentimes causes some trouble. Illustrator can't quite figure out where to put the gradient mesh line. So I found this to work better. We're going to take a rectangle tool and we're going to draw it about the size of our pepper, something like that, okay? Another thing we need to open is Window and Navigator. I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. I'm going to move this over out of the way. I can kind of drag it out, get a little bit bigger. Here's the reason why. See this shape right now? This rectangle? It has no fill. If I make it a white fill, you can see I cannot see what's underneath. Alright? If you look at our layers, we have these eyeballs. That toggles visibility. If I turn the eyeball off, it gets rid of that layer, or hides that layer with the white square. Now I can see what's underneath, but you notice I can't draw on it because the layer is not visible. I can't draw on it. So how can we get around that? That eyeball right now has a black pupil. If I command click, it says command click to toggle view mode. That's going to give me outline mode on that layer. You can see now I'll be able to draw on it. I can look up here and see the colors that are going on, like it's not invisible. And you'll see why this works or makes sense as we go along. Alright, I'm going to turn the fill off on that for now. I'm going to take my gradient mesh tool. Shortcut is U. U for gradient mesh. I'm going to, there's a little dot right here in the middle, right? Little dot in the middle, I'm going to click on that. That's going to give me my initial gradient mesh line. Then I want to add kind of about halfway here. Don't have to be exact. We're just going to add a couple more of those to get ourselves a good grid. With the gradient mesh tool still active and using your understanding of the pen tool and Bezier curves, we're going to click on a point and I'm going to start to use the handles and the points to kind of outline this red pepper. Now I'm going to go fairly quick because you guys are watching me on the tutorial here and I don't want it to drag on forever as I'm doing this. You'd obviously want to spend a little more time, be a little more accurate than I am. But for proof of concept, and I accidentally added a line I didn't need, so let me undo that. For proof of concept, I just want to show you how this indeed works. Alright, so we come in and we click, and you'll notice that this gradient mesh tool kind of works like the direct selection tool, the white arrow that we learned about. When we were learning about the pen tool. Alright, so I'm going to continue to go through and trace this out. I don't want you to sit through and have to watch the whole thing, and when we come back, I'll show you what we're going to do next.